Yoo-hoo! Hello, Lyme friends. Beaux here. I told a few people I was going to be here, so here I am. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Beaux Car, party time, excellent, right? Exactly. So, welcome to the latest car party, where we are going to once again talk about spirochetes and western blots. It's Friday. I'm feeling kind of funny, and Kathleen tried to confuse me, and I threatened to go eat a sandwich instead. So here I am, talking spirochetes and western blots instead of lunch. So, welcome. I've been noticing that there's a little confusion out there, and I just wanted to go over this stuff once again, and hopefully I won't blab for 30 minutes. I want to try to do this in 10 minutes or less. Let's see if that's possible. So we are talking Lyme disease, and we are talking not Lyme disease. There are two separate entities that everybody needs to understand. Lyme disease is what the crooks who wanted to get rid of all of the chronically ill people decided to call this disease that is caused by spirochetes, and that they define as purely an arthritic knee. That's Lyme disease. All the rest of us are chopped liver. So, we have Lyme disease and we have not Lyme disease. They're both caused by our little spirochete friend here. Thank you, Kathleen Dixon, for our Play-Doh-mation. In this little Play-Doh spirochete, you will notice that there are these green balls, and those are blebs, B-L-E-B-S, plural, also known as exosomes or vesicles, and those are a product of the process that the spirochetes go through to avoid the immune system. Basically, they shed off these blobs of gunk from their outer surface when they're under attack, and then they start expressing different proteins. So these little blobs or blebs or exosomes are shed by the spirochete, and those blebs are covered in these other little colored dots that you can see. Those are the outer surface proteins. They're sometimes called variable major proteins or other whatever. There's like other hello, God, can't think of the word. Okay, anyway, there's lots of proteins on these things, these blebs or vesicles or exosomes, and those are what actually cause the disease. So those cause the immune reaction. So when the spirochete sheds off its outer surface on these blebs that are covered in the lipoproteins, those are what is causing the immune reaction. So there's one kind of outer surface protein on those, or a couple kinds, and then when those are shed off, the spirochete has a new outer surface that's expressing different outer surface proteins. So they stimulate different immune responses, right? So, they make your immune system produce different antibodies, basically. So when you're looking at your western blot and you're looking at all the different bands, that's what we're talking about here. So like this little red ball will cause you to produce a different band on your western blot than the little blue ball next to it. So what we're talking about here is these outer surface proteins actually causing the disease, not the spirochete itself, like burrowing into your tissues and stuff the way we like to imagine it, because it's twisty, you know. It's a great visual, but it's not really what's causing the disease. It's not the spirochete twisting, corkscrewing into your brain, blah blah blah. It really has to do with these outer surface proteins, which are highly lipidated proteins, and it's those lipids that cause the immune response. It's like this oily, sticky gunk, okay? And that gunk actually gums up your immune system so that it can't function properly. It actually is inhibited from presenting that antigen to your immune cells, so that the immune cells they don't even get it presented to them for them to have any reaction. So it's really nasty stuff that is on those blebs that are shed by the spirochetes. Okay, moving on. So I was talking about the Western blot. Now, here we have our Western blot strips, and this shows exactly how the crooks have succeeded in wiping out all of us who have this what we call chronic Lyme, and we can't get any help. We can't get a doctor to acknowledge that we're sick, even though we're screaming in pain and can't pick ourselves up off the pavement. You got your face glued to the carpet, and you can't go make a pot of soup to save your life, basically. That's us. And so this is how they've been successful in denying our existence, denying our illness, denying that that we need any help at all, when in fact we all know that we need all the help in the world here. So basically, you see there's a divider line here in the middle. You've got two sets of Western blot strips, and the darkness indicates the amount of immune response. So there's a stronger immune response over here, much stronger. Whereas over here on these are different lanes, so these are different subjects. They're all different test results, and the outer lines are the controls. So you can see that all of the inner lanes in here, they have very few bands that showed up. That means there's a very low immune response. So what the crooks did back in 1994 when they had their Dearborn conference, that was when everything changed. Everything. And so it's very important to know about that event. So what they did was they changed the case definition, which means they changed the testing. So the testing that the CDC says that you have to have, which is the two-tier ELISA plus Western blot, they said you have to test positive by what we say, which is this two-tier protocol, which they put in place at Dearborn, which says that you can only have Lyme disease if you produce lots of antibodies, and you're in this group right here. So Lyme disease as a disease is defined purely as this very strong, it's an HLA linked or genetically linked arthritic immune response. So, and really it's arthritis in one knee. And Alan Steer has said that repeatedly. It's monoarticulate arthritis, usually in a knee. So that is Lyme disease. So you've got to understand, when the crooks are talking about Lyme disease, they're saying this is the disease. So when they say chronic Lyme disease doesn't exist, what they're saying is that this disease in a chronic form, where people are fatigued and they have the cognitive issues and the neurologic issues and the headaches and the pain and everything else, they're saying that, oh, that's not chronic Lyme disease, because chronic Lyme disease would be purely, an ouchie knee. So that's where we are. And that's why we say you have to understand that this is a false dichotomy that has been going on for 40 years now, where these crooks are saying these people aren't sick, they're just crazy because they're saying they have chronic Lyme disease. Well, chronic Lyme disease doesn't exist because all of that stuff that you have going on doesn't fit that definition that they put in place at the Dearborn Conference in 1994. Okay? The false dichotomy. What is a false dichotomy? That's when there is a claim that there are only two sides to a story. And we know damn well that there is another side to this story. And what is that side? Boom. That side is that these outer surface proteins on these blebs or vesicles or exosomes that are spread by the that are shed by the spirochetes, those are immune suppressive. They do not cause this immune response in 85% of the population. Most of us, 85% of us, are over here, and we will never test positive here. So the false dichotomy is saying that this disease is either about persistent spirochetes or it's not. It's about killing them with antibiotics, including long-term antibiotics, or it's not. And so the media has only addressed this disease in terms of the false dichotomy. All of this time, 40 years, they talk about the Lyme wars. They talk about, oh, there's the IDSA camp that says chronic Lyme doesn't exist. And then there's the ILADS camp that says chronic Lyme exists and we've got to find a way to kill the spirochetes. Nope. Sorry. That is the false dichotomy. And can you see how keeping that argument going does not address the real issue here? I really want people to see that. I really need you to start thinking in terms of how they are keeping us in this, sometimes I call it bondage. It's like we're held captive to this false idea, the false dichotomy, that it has to be one or the other. It doesn't. It is not one or the other. It is this thing in between where those antigens on the blebs, those lipoproteins, they cause a septic response, and then your immune system basically shuts off to prevent death from sepsis. So we need to be talking about that aspect of the disease. We need to shift the conversation to this disease is more like a B cell AIDS. We call it a B cell AIDS sometimes. And I know that sounds scary. I don't want to scare anybody, but it's reality. This is the reality that we're in. And we can either take a stand and start talking about what it really is so that we can get, we want to get the media to start addressing the real situation. Are they ever going to do that? I don't know. I mean, they're all bought. And so who knows? Maybe somebody will pick up on it and talk about the right thing. But this is the challenge. We've got to get beyond the false dichotomy, talk about what the real disease is, and get everybody help. Because that's the only way that everyone's going to get help. Yeah, this is a human rights issue. I'll get into that in another talk in the near future. It has to stop, There are too many people suffering and living in their cars and going broke because they're trying to pay for IV antibiotics, and it bankrupts people. You try everything you can for 5 years and then you lose your home, and then where are you? You're still sick and you're homeless on top of it. So we want that to stop, and we are trying everything we can to do that. So I'm going to provide links to where you can get these documents and you can take a look, and I'm going to provide a link to our Lyme Crime 101 training group, and we invite people to join and understand these issues and understand the science behind the disease, because it's not that difficult. And once you get it, there's no turning back. Once you get it, you are going to be angry and you are going to want to do everything that you can to change the situation. And I invite everybody to join us. We need everyone we can get. And if you're sick and you don't think you can do it, that's okay. I hope you can still make the effort to learn what the issues really are, because this is the biggest deal, probably. God, I don't know. I mean, it's just such an important issue, and we need all hands on deck. So please join us. Visit truthcures.org. At the bottom of the homepage, you can see links to all of our various bloggers. It's a great group of people who are as passionate and as dedicated as I am, and I love these people. And so please go and read their blogs and share the information. Everybody approaches it a little bit differently, so you are bound to find somebody who speaks to you and can explain this to you in a way that you can understand. So I encourage everybody to do that. Please visit truthcures.org, go look at the blog links, and learn what this disease is about so that you can make the right arguments too, and you can stand up to this oppression that we've been subjected to for so long. Thank you, guys. I don't know when I'll do my next talk. I have a really busy couple of weeks coming up, so we'll see, but I know that people have topics lined up for me, so I'll do the best that I can. Thank you again, and everybody have a good weekend. See ya.